going on? What's going on? It's Dewan HODLs. We're back with another video. It's Thursday, Friday Eve. Let's get it. Just getting off from producing value, right? Through my communication, through my ability to sell, through my ability to be me. So if you're not you, right? If you're not being you the best you could possibly be, and trying to find ways to take what you already know and what you already can do and try to maximize it, because I truly believe that you really don't have much time to try to acquire a new skill just to make more so you can stack sats. This is the time now. If you have not been preparing the past couple of years, really since, I guess you could say, since the downturn or the bear market started roughly beginning of the year 2021, you need to be doing what you can now to add value to a company, add value to some people that you may know, to mine fiat, and to stack the most scarce asset, the most hard asset out there, Bitcoin. So if you're stacking Bitcoin, if you're in this privileged position to do so with fiat or whatever means you can do it with, do it responsibly, do it with a decentralized peer-to-peer exchange such as HODL, where all you need is to sign up, is an email address and password. Let's get it. Also, if you are wanting to store that Bitcoin somewhere safe, because these large centralized exchanges are not trustworthy enough, look for a cold storage wallet to keep your Bitcoin safe, and an open source one at that excuse me, such as the cold wallet that's in the CoinKite store down below. So check out hodl.com down below and the CoinKite store for your Bitcoin, your essential Bitcoin needs. Let's get it. Excuse me. All right, so I didn't really have much to plan to talk about in this video, but I felt like I needed to jump on, so something very inspirational should be coming out. I wanted to talk about my time in El Salvador, aka Bitcoin country, as I was there probably for a total of about maybe 3 weeks. I don't think it's enough time to really assess the country, but I want to tell you my experience from the point of view of someone who is highly interested in the Bitcoin, and someone who is a black man. All right, and you know, some of you guys, you may not relate to it if you're not black, if you're not a black man, but that's okay, because I think there's still something you can get out of it. Now, if you're a black man, you're in the States, or you're in most Western countries, you know, it's a different experience than when you go to Latin America. Particularly, I find in El Salvador, and in general in Latin America. In Latin America, I've been to Colombia, I've been to Mexico, I've been to El Salvador, I've been to Puerto Rico. And so far, when going into these Latin American countries, most cases, being a black man, aside from being a black man in Western countries such as US, London, wherever you're from, maybe Australia, I don't know. Just my experience, it's deemed as very cool, right? It's very cool. You know, the swagger is there. Everybody, you know, accepts it as cool, you know, versus being in the West, in the United States, and some certain other countries where it's kind of looked down upon, a little frowned upon, you know. But that's all right, because when you're in those type of countries, I don't think personally you should be trying to seek any type of validation or approval anywhere. I think you go to a country for where you want to use it for, and a country like El Salvador is awesome, not only for Bitcoin but for black men specifically. I think so. So I just didn't have any issues there. The people were very friendly, and they don't. I just think that because in a lot of these Latin American countries, they don't have a history of that type of racial discrimination like the United States and a lot of other Western countries may have. So there you go. But either way, let's get off that and let's hop on the Bitcoin train a little bit. So my time in El Salvador, I realized that Bitcoin is known to a vast majority of the people, whether a vast majority, and it's not really being pushed on the people like some of these media outlets try to paint the president for being some type of dictator that's forcing them to use Bitcoin. It's not the case, because they've heard of it, and a lot of them, you know, if they don't want to accept it, they don't accept it. They just say, no, I'd rather use dollars, I'd rather be paid in dollars, and that's fine too. But it's also an option, right? As soon as you go to immigration, you land there and you're in the immigration line because you're coming in as a visitor or a tourist, you pay that $12 tourist card, which I think is a tremendous idea, because now that Bitcoiners coming to visit El Salvador, you pay that $12 tourist card. It's going towards the country. It's going towards the people. And I think it's well worth it to be there. And from there, you'll see certain vendors, they may accept Bitcoin. Probably the vast majority don't. And that's okay. But I'm sure they're using it. And I'm sure a good majority is probably using it to save what they get and profit from their business. And so that's the main thing. At least they're aware. Here in the U.S., people are above Bitcoin. Even the people who can't afford to be above Bitcoin are above Bitcoin in mentality, because a lot of times they'll just, write it off as what the media tells them, which I guess they do that for everything here. You have the whole C-19 coming back into play, and people are already getting ready to fall back in line. They're already scared and worried again. And so when the government tells them that Bitcoin is a scam, or they hear these things in the news, they're going to think the same way. So I think that's a great thing about El Salvador. They have a bit of walls up when it comes to that type of media propaganda when it comes to Bitcoin and pretty much everything else. Even back in 2021, when lockdowns were getting insane and they were damn near mandating vaccination, they were this close to mandating for everybody. El Salvador was different. El Salvador's president really pushed essential health tips and habits. He says try to get out and work out a little bit, try to jog, try to do something, exercise, try to eat healthier foods, try to get better rest, and try to get around loved ones. This is what El Salvador president was issuing out to their citizens. So just laying down the groundwork of how my time in El Salvador was just awesome, and I really respect what the leadership is doing there. A lot of opportunity for Bitcoin adoption still there, but I think that's what they're working on. And first, what they're working on is building that infrastructure. They're jumping on top of the network and trying to build off of the network first, and that'll bring in the businesses, that'll bring in the entrepreneurship, that'll bring in the funding, right, for to build on top of that infrastructure. So I think they're doing well with the bonds, as far as issuing bonds, so they can help build this type of infrastructure. And so, and I just like it because it's laid back. It's not none of that, again, that racial bias towards you for whatever color you are that you'll see in some of these more developed and progressive countries. It's just chill. Nobody's really sweating you like that. And I think that's because that country did a 180 as far as how they deal with their former social regressions and retardation, which was the gangs, the senseless killings, and so forth. So this country genuinely wants to progress. They genuinely want to be humans, as opposed to certain developed countries. They want to glorify gang life, glorify violence. They want to be regressive in their mentality in human society, as far as treating people different because of their color, their sex, their gender, all this type of stuff. I just wanted to share that. I know this is a little different than the usual my ideas about Bitcoin and crypto, but this is what came to me, so I want to give it to you raw. Pause. All right, y'all. So I'm near the crib, near the house. I'm sorry, I'm getting real informal with y'all today, and I'm getting ready to eat my first meal of the day. And I hope you guys are being productive and stacking sats. Really, man, I really do, because when this accumulation phase is over with, I think that we'll see some numbers that people are going to be in total shock of, regardless of what we're seeing in the economy. Holla at y'all. Till next time.